Okay, so good morning, primary one, prep one, sorry. Good morning, prep one. Today we are going to take the first lesson in the second term. It's such an easy lesson, سهلة جدا، فيهاش أي حاجة خالص. الconcept بتاعها already we know it before. تمام؟ So it will be so easy. Now I want someone to remind me, what is the meaning of repeated addition? حد فاكر يعني إيه repeated addition؟ جودي.
يعني عملنا مثلا 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2
يعني عملت مثلا 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 مثلا 4 times، يبقى هكتبها 2 times 4. يبقى repeated addition I am making. عندي repeated addition ده عبارة عن ايه؟ addition متكرر for the same number, so it's going to be a multiplication. repeated addition هو multiplication. According to how many times the 2 was repeated, I'm going to multiply the 2 with. Okay, thank you, Judy.
You're
Now, can anyone remember me what is the repeated multiplication? We should have taken it in primary 6. Safe.
To the power يعني of something.
Exactly. For example, when I say I have 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, here I have a repeated multiplication. The repeated multiplication, I'm going to write it as 2 to the power of 4. 2 is repeated 4 times itself, so it is 2 to the power of 4. Thank you so much, Yasif.
You're welcome.
طيب الحته دي لحد دلوقتي كده فيها مشكله. المفروض الكلام ده احنا كنا واخدينه قبل كده، يعني ايه repeated multiplication ويعني ايه repeated addition. الفيرست lesson بتاعتنا النهارده على repeated multiplication. احنا اخدنا already repeated multiplication when we were in primary 6. تمام، بس خدناه على الانتجرز. المره دي احنا كبرنا شويه واخدنا set جديده اسمها set of rational numbers اللي هي in the form of a over b. فهناخد ال repeated multiplication او ال powers for A over B or for rational numbers. أهم حاجة بس قبل ما نبتدي عايزين نتفق مع بعض على حاجة. For example, I have here 4 to the power of 3. 4, it's called the base. يبقى البيس بتاعي is 4. And the 3 here, it's called the power. الباور ليه كذا اسم تاني، ممكن أقول عليه power، ممكن أقول عليه index أو indices، وممكن أقول عليه exponent. The 3 names are for the same thing. To the power of 2, I can say that 2 is the index. I can say also that 2 is the exponent. And of course, the number اللي موجود تحت ده اسمه the base. محمد أو مريم، أنا مش عارفة مين فيكم. I didn't say anything new except that when I have, for example, 2 to the power of 4, this 2 is called a base, and the 4, it's called the power. And I have another name for the power. I can say that it's also an exponent or an index. I didn't say anything more. And that 2 to the power of 4, this means 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, or by other words, 2 times itself for 4 times. Is it clear now? Mona, can you see the screen? Mona, can you see the screen now? Can you all see the screen? طيب يا منى هم كلهم they can see the screen، فممكن تجربي تعملي disjoin وترجعي تاني؟ So let's go today and begin our new lesson. طيب أنا هعمل stop share وهرجع أعمل share تاني، أوكي؟ Can you see it now? تمام. The first lesson we're going to take today, again, it's repeated multiplication, but we are going to take repeated multiplication in Q or in rational numbers. We know that any rational number is written in the form of A over B, and that B should not equal to 0. Now, let's have a small example. If I told you that I have, for example, half all to the power of 2. احنا قلنا to the power of 2 means that the base, which is half, is repeated by multiplication in number. Screen clear to everyone? Okay. So when I say, for example, half to the power of 2, this means that I'm making half times half, right? The rule here, to have a power for a rational number, I'm going to distribute the 2 over the numerator and the denominator. So I will have 1 to the power of 2 over 2 to the power of 2. For example, if I have 3 over 4 to the power of 3, again, I'm going to take this power and distribute it 1 time on the numerator and 1 time on the denominator. So it's going to be 3 to the power of 3 over 4 to the power of 3. So until now, does anyone have any question? If you have a question, please raise your hand. نعم يا حسين.
طب مس دلوقتي اشمعنى يعني في الهاف ضربناه مرتين وفي ال 3 over 4 عملنا 3 باور 3.
علشان الباور هنا هو اللي بيحدد لك. هنا كان عندي to the power of 2 فحطيت هنا على النيوميريتور 2 وعلى الدينومينيتور 2. لكن in the second example I have here to the power of 3 عملت هنا 3 to the power of 3 over 4 to the power of 3. لو احنا كنا عايزين نعملها multiplication فدي كانت هتبقى equal 3 over 4 times 3 over 4 times 3 over 4 3 times. Okay? واحنا عارفين ان احنا when we are multiplying fractions we go and multiply numerators together and denominators together. فهيبقى عندي 3 times 3 times 3 over 4 times 4 times 4. واحنا قلنا ان ال repeated multiplication دي هي الباورز فهتبقى 3 to the power of 3 over 4 to the power of 4 to the power of 3. بدل ما اعمل بقى كل الستبس دي I apply the rule. تمام؟ جميلة.
I just have a question. Now 1 over 2 changed to 3 over 4.
لا, I didn't change 1 over 2 to 3 over 4. This is an example and this is another one.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
Okay.
تمام. Steve.
يس يا مس. هو يعني بدل ما اعمل كل الستبس اللي هي في 3 over 4 بدل ما اعمل 3 over 4 times
بدل ما تعمل كل الستبس دي
اعمل دي بس.
بالظبط.
اوكي تمام.
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 يبقى when I have a over b to the power of n, this means that I'm going to repeat a over b n times according to the number I have here as a power. And at the end, I can say that when I have a over b to the power of n, I'm going to distribute this power over the numerator and over the denominator. So it's going to be a to the power of n over b to the power of n. So let's have another example here. If I have 2 over 5 all to the power of 3. Again, I'm going to take the 3 and distribute it 1 time on 2 and another time on 5. So it's going to be 2 to the power of 3 over 5 to the power of 3. Most probably النمبرز دي احنا بنبقى حافظينها من كتر ما هنستخدمها. لكن for meanwhile I'm going to find it by using the calculator. 2 to the power of 3 this is equal to 8 and 5 to the power of 3 this is equal to 125. So until here, does anyone have a question? يبقى تاني مصطفى. For example, I have here 2/3 all to the power of 3. تمام؟ All what I'm going to do is بدل the whole fraction is raised to the power of 3 or the whole fraction is cubed, then I'm going to take the 3 and distribute it one time on the numerator and the other time on the denominator. So it's going to be 2 to the power of 3 over 3 to the power of 3. من كتر ما هنستخدم الأرقام دي we'll get used to it وهنحفظ إن 2 to the power of 3 is equal to 8 and 3 to the power of 3 this is equal to 27. لحد ما نبتدي نحفظها من كتر الاستخدام هنطلعها بالكالكوليتر بس كده. تمام يا مصطفى؟ اوكي طيب. Do you remember in the first term and also last year we know that anything to the power of 0 is going to equal 1. So if I have a whole fraction to the power of 0 this is going to give me 1. لو الفراكشن ده is positive or if it is negative but the whole fraction is raised to the power of 0 I'm always going to have an answer of 1. هنا الستيب المهمة عندي هي دي ودي. الحتة بتاعت to the power of 0 دي is it clear؟ طيب anyone have a question please raise your hand. نور.
Miss, can you say it again? The power of 0 party?
Okay, I have nothing to the power 0 except that if I have anything raised to the power of 0 my answer is 1. أي حاجة بقى. لو أنا جيت قلت لك negative 4 over 5 to the power of 0 this is equal to 1. لو أنا جيت قلت لك half to the power of 0 this is equal to 1. Even لو لقيت حاجة غريبة كده مكتوبة okay to the power of 0 it's also going to be equal to 1. الحاجة الوحيدة اللي I should take care of if I have for example negative 4 over 5 to the power of 0. Here the negative is outside of the bracket. So I am going to have it as negative 1. Exactly. Okay?
كده زي الابسوليت value.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay. Judy?
Yes miss. بس هو أي حاجة تكون to the power of 1 حتى لو negative.
أي حاجة to the power of 0 ب 1 even if it is negative. الحالة الوحيدة اللي هكتبها negative 1 لو زي هنا النيجاتيف is outside of the bracket. تمام؟ لكن لو النيجاتيف جوه البراكت it's going to be 1 على طول. اوكي. عمر؟
بس هو لو حضرتك سامعني؟
ايوه.
هو لو مثلا اللي هي براكت نيجاتيف 4 over 5 براكت باور اوف 0 فلو ما حطش البراكت يعني هتبقى الفور هي الباور اوف 0 لوحدها ولا برضه نفس الفراكشن؟
بالظبط لو عمل لك قصدك 4 over 5 to the power of 0 صح؟
كده هتبقى
معناها ان ال 4 بس هي اللي to the power of 0 علشان اقول ان ال whole fraction is raised to the power of 0 لازم بحطها between brackets.
اوكي ثانك يو.
سيف؟
اوكي يعني لازم احط براكت عشان تبقى على الاثنين يعني.
بالظبط.
اوكي هو ده اللي كنت اسال
تمام.
فيه. اوكي.
طيب let's go here for this example. I have 0.7 to the power of 2. طيب علشان أعمل 0.7 to the power of 2 first of all I'm going to change it to be a fraction. So it is 7 over 10 to the power of 2. Then I'm going to distribute the power on the numerator and on the denominator. So 7 to the power of 2 over 10 to the power of 2. Using our calculator, this is equal to 49 over 100, which is equal to 0.49. I'm going to lower hands كلها. Does anyone have a question? Does anyone have a question? Okay. فاضل a very small part. ايه هي؟ When I have a negative number raised to m or raised to a power, if I have the power an even number, يعني ايه even number؟ يعني 2, 4, 6, 8 and so on, the answer is always going to be positive. لما بلاقي raised to an even power cancel النيجاتيف كأني مش شايفاها أصلا. And if I have a negative number raised to a power and this power is an odd number, يعني 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 and so on, the negative remains as it is. So again, when I have any number raised to, any negative number raised to an even number power, then my answer is positive عشان I cancel النيجاتيف أصلا. But if it was raised to a power which is odd, the negative remains as it is. As here in the example, I have negative half to the power of 4. When I see the negative number, I go and look for the power. The power here is even. So the power, the negative sign is going to be cancelled. So it will be half to the power of 4. Distribute the 4 over the 1 and the 2. So it will be 1 over 16. In the other example here, I have negative half to the power of 3. I have a negative number, so I go and look for the power. The power here is an odd number. So the negative is going to go outside, مش هلغيها. تمام? So it's going to be negative outside of the bracket, and then half to the power of 3, which is equal to negative 1 over 8. Any questions? أيوة ياسيف؟
بس هي هتفرق النيجاتيف ساين من بره ولا من جوه البراكت؟
لا هي مش هتفرق، بس عشان ما تنساهاش.
يعني المفروض ده احطها جوه ولا بره؟
مش هتفرق. هي في الآخر أنا لو جيت أعملها وهي جوه هقول نيجاتيف half to the power of 3 تبقى equal negative وأطلعها بره على طول أهي 1 over 3 2 to the power of 3 يبقى equal negative 1 over 8. طلعتها بره زي ما طلعتهاش. المهم إن أنت تفتكر إن أنت تحطها بس.
اوكي
Okay?
اوكي ثانك يو.
Welcome dear. ملك. ملك.
بس هو لما بتكون الباور odd number بنشيل بنخلي النيجاتيف، ولا لما بيكون النمبر هو اللي odd number؟
لا حبيبتي لما بيكون الباور هو اللي odd number. طب
اوكي.
ليه؟ عشان أنا لو جيت قلت لك نيجاتيف، يعني إيه نيجاتيف half to the power of 3؟ يعني نيجاتيف half times نيجاتيف half times نيجاتيف half، صح؟
صح.
Negative times negative, this is going to give me positive number. مظبوط؟
صح.
هاجي أعمل البوزيتيف نمبر ده times النيجاتيف نمبر so I'm going to have negative. علشان كده على طول لما بيبقى عندي odd power for a negative number لازم الانسر بيطلع negative. غير البوزيتيف لو أنا بقول negative half times negative half times negative half times negative half. Okay? I'm going to have negative times negative, it's going to give me positive, times negative times negative, it's going to give me positive. So the answer is going to be positive.
اوكي.
Okay?
اوكي thanks.
Welcome حبيبتي. منى.
Yes. So I have a question. So if the degree is an even number, we just cancel the negative. But if it's an odd number, we get the negative outside the bracket.
Mona, can you come again? Sorry.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
So if the degree is negative odd,
Power.
then we put the negative yeah, it's an odd power. Then we put the negative out of the bracket, and what if it's already out? What do we do?
لا اوكي so it's gonna be out زي ما هي. يعني لو هو already كاتب لك
Okay.
negative 1 over 2 to the power of 3 ماليش دعوه خلاص النيجاتيف هتبقى زي ما هي 1 over 1 to the power of 3 2 to the power of 3 يبقى equal to negative 1 over 8. اوكي؟
Okay.
يعني
I just have something.
قولي
لو
هات.
الرقم اللي فوق على طول 1 ما بنعملش add للpower؟ ما بنعملوش times الpower
هنا مش
اللي كانت
بعمل
موجودة؟
بالظبط لان anything to the power of 1 is the same number يعني اساسا عمره ما هيحط لك power 1 عشان احنا قلنا power 1 we don't put it يعني لو انا عندي
لا
negative
أنا قصدي لو
يبقى دي اسمها negative half to the power of 1 بس ال1 مش بتتحط.
أيوة لا أنا بقول لو مثلا زي 1 over 2 هنا power of 3 ليه ما بنعملش 3 ليه ما بنعملش 1 times 3؟
لا انا بعمل 1 to the power of 3 هتبقى equal 1 ما هو اي حاجه 1 to the power of anything is 1
اوكي
يعني انا هنا already عملت
ماشي
1 to the power of 3 over 2 to the power of 3 1 to the power of 3 is equal to 1 تمام
اوكي ماشي بس الصبح كنت بتعلق.
ولا يهمك اوكي
اوكي thank you.
لا عمرو
Yes, miss. Do you hear me?
yes I can hear you
Okay. In the positive integer, we make if he makes Jimmy 4 over 5 and you make me plus 4 over 5, both are to the power of 3. Then we don't we plus them, or what should we do?
we what لو انت عندك 4 over 5 to the power of 3
Yes.
all what you should do take the 3 and distribute it on 4 and on 5 فهيبقى 4 to the power of 3 over 5 to the power of 3
Okay.
اوكي بس
Okay. Thank you.
كده. نور
Miss, what if the negative is outside the bracket and the يعني مثلا what if it's like negative outside the bracket 1 over 2 to the power of 4
زي هنا كده
يعني to the power of an even number.
ولا هيفرق معايا خالص اصل انا امتى هقول ان النيجاتيف ان الباور هيفرق معايا لو النيجاتيف دي جوه لكن طول ما النيجاتيف بره انا ماليش دعوه انا دلوقتي بجيب ده بس هو اللي انا عايزاه to the power of 4 النيجاتيف هتبقى زي ما هي اوكي
يعني هتبقى still الانسر هتبقى negative 1 to the power
بالظبط
of 1 over 2.
بالظبط
اوكي
سيف
yes يا مس. I can't understand يعني اللي هي البارت بتاعت ال VE دي
بتاعت ايه
ال VE
دي بوزيتيف يعني بوزيتيف نمبر ودي يعني بوزيتيف نمبر بدل ما اكتب كلمه بوزيتيف كلها هتلاقيها بعد كده على طول في بريب بتستخدمها اكتر
يعني I can't understand يعني ال
طيب
دي كلها يعني
طيب ماشي تمام تعالى كده مع بعض
هي فاتتني مش I can't understand دي
ستيب باي
فاتتني.
ستيب عشان هي سهله قوي ما فيهاش اي حاجه دلوقتي لما انا بقول لك negative half to the power of 4 دي معناها ايه I am making negative half times negative half times negative half times negative half صح
صح
انا عارفه ان كل two negative numbers multiplied together I get a positive number right
right
يبقى انا كده I have positive number times a positive number so the answer is sure positive number اوكي
اوكي معلش هي فاتتني بس
نيجي للثانيه
يعني
I have
I
negative
can't
half
understand.
تمام times negative half times negative half اوكي قلنا كل two
اوكي
negative multiplied together I get positive فهنا I will have positive and still I have one negative يبقى positive times negative so the answer is negative عشان كده بنقول لما الباور بتاعتي بتبقى even على طول I take away the negative لما الباور بتاعتي بتبقى odd بسيب النيجاتيف زي ما هو.
اوكي تمام شكرا.
طيب mainly كده اللسن خلصت ما فيهاش اي حاجه تانية زياده عن كده. هنبتدي بس نريفايز مع بعض what is the additive inverse. We know that the additive inverse of any positive number is a negative number, and the additive inverse of any negative number is the positive number. So على طول ال additive inverse I change the sign. For example, if I have here negative half to all to the power of 2 or all squared, عايزين نبتدي نتعلم بقى ان انا لما يبقى عندي power of 2 دي اسمها squared، ولما يبقى عندي to the power of 3 دي معناها cubed. So here I have negative half all squared. What I'm going to do, I have here a negative number and an even power. So the negative is going to be cancelled. And then I'm going to distribute the 2 over the 1 and over the 2. So 1 over 2 to the power of 2, which is equal to 1 over 4. ال 1 over 4 دي ايه؟ ال 1 over 4 دي this is the answer of negative half all squared. So to find the additive inverse, I'm going to change a sign. It will be negative 1 over 4. بالظبط زي ما كنا بنعمل في first term. Okay? Here, for example, I have negative 2 over 5 all to the power of 0. We know that anything raised to the power of 0 is equal to 1. And we know that the additive inverse of any number is the same number with opposite or different sign. So 1, the additive inverse of it is going to be negative 1. Or sometimes in the choices, you will find him writing it negative, open a bracket, 2 over 5 all squared, because this also is equal to negative 1. Hannah.
Good morning, Miss.
Good morning, حبيبتي.
I have a question.
Yes.
When I write on the calculator negative 1 over 2 power 2, it gave me negative 1 over 4.
علشان you must put it in bracket زي ما أنا كاتباها كده بالظبط.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Welcome. Safe.
Miss, you told me it doesn't make a change of the negative signs inside the bracket or outside.
بنتكلم هنا. احنا كنا بنتكلم هنا ان انا اوريدي عندي باور، تمام؟ odd، فمش هيفرق هو بره ولا جوه. لكن هنا بتتكلم ان انت عندك اصلا نيجاتيف وبعدين 2 over 5 to the power of 0. 2 over 5 to the power of 0 دي يعني equal 1، يبقى negative 1.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Welcome. The second thing we need to revise is the multiplicative inverse. And we know that the multiplicative inverse is the flip of the fraction. So for example, if I have 2 over 3, the multiplicative inverse is the flip of the fraction, so it is 3 over 2. So again, if I have negative 2 over 3 all squared, again, positive even number, so I cancel the negative sign. I'm going to distribute the 2 over 2 and over 3. So it is 2 to the power of 2 over 3 to the power of 2, which is equal to 4 over 9. I want to find the multiplicative inverse of 4 over 9, which is going to be 9 over 4, the flip of the fraction. The same here, I have negative 2 over 3 to the power of 3. Here I have an odd power. So I'm going to leave the negative as it is and distribute the 3 on the 2 and on the 3. So 2 to the power of 3 over 3 to the power of 3, this is equal to 8 over 27. And because I have an odd power, so the negative remains as it is. To find the multiplicative inverse, I'm going to flip the fraction and have the same sign as it is. And let's remember also that we said in the first term that the multiplicative inverse of 1 is 1, and the multiplicative inverse of negative 1 is negative 1. Prep 1, can you all see the screen and hear me? طيب روجي يبقى كده المشكلة عندك انت. اوكي. The last thing we need to revise before we go and start answering the rule for the area of the square and the volume of a cube. We know that an area of the square is equal to S times S. Here I repeated S by multiplication 2 times, so this means that it's equal to S to the power of 2. يبقى area of the square is S to the power of 2. And the volume of the cube, it's S times S times S. So I repeated S times itself 3 times. So the volume of the cube is equal to S to the power of 3. Hannah.
Sorry, Miss, I raised my hand by mistake.
Okay. Does anyone have questions before we go and start solving? حد عنده any question قبل ما نبتدي to answer? طيب in the chat كده, is it an easy lesson or no? سارة.
هاي يا ميس،
هاي حبيبتي.
انا معلش بس دخلت متأخر عشان كان في حاجة في النت، فانا مش فاهمة حضرتك قلتي ايه قوي في الاول، او مش
طيب.
ما جيتش اللي حضرتك قلتيه في الاول خالص.
احنا بنعمل واحنا بنحل you will get the idea. If not, I'm going to upload الفيديو كله على الموديل. Okay?
اوكي شكرا.
Welcome dear. طيب قبل ما go and start answering, let's revise اللي احنا قلنا. We said that if I have any number raised to the power of 0, the answer is going to be 1. And we said that if I have a rational number all raised to the power, what I'm going to do is distribute the power on the numerator and on the denominator. So here I will have x to the power of a over y to the power of a. As we can see here in the example, I have 2 over 3 all cubed. So this is equal to 2 over 3 to the power of 3 over 3 to the power of 3, which is equal to 2 over 27. We also need to remember that any number to the power of 1 is the same number as it is. So this means that when I have a variable, the variable is to the power of 1 and it's equal to the same variable. The last thing we check that when I have a negative number raised to the power, if this power is an odd number, so the negative is going to be as it is. If this number is an even number, if the power is an even number, so I'm going to take away the negative. Okay, so let's go now and start solving from our binders. Sheet D, I already sent it to you on the group and I will upload it today on the Moodle as well. So calculate each of the following, then put the result in the simplest form. The most important thing when you are calculating to make sure that the fraction is in the simplest form. And already if you are using your calculator, you will get it in the simplest form. Now I want to calculate 1 over 5 all raised to the power of 3. عمر.
Yes, miss. هنخلي 1 over 5 cubed and 5 cubed.
يبقى 1 to the power of 3. استنى عشان الخط يبقى واضح شوية. يبقى هعمل 1 to the power of 3 over 5 to the power of 3 and this is equal to
1 over 125.
1 over 125 and of course this is in the simplest form. Thank you so much, Omar. What I did here is I'm going to take the power and distribute it one time on the numerator and the other time on the denominator. And let's go now for number 2. Negative 3 over 4 all to the power of 4. Yasin?
Yeah, so I'm gonna make 3 to the power of 4 over 4 to the power of 4.
So I have 3 to the power of 4 over 4 to the power of 4, and this is equal to
which is equal to 81 over 256.
81 over 256. Thank you so much, Yasin.
Right.
Now I have here a negative number. So I looked at the power. My power is even. And we know that when I have a negative number raised to an even power, I cancel the sign. كأني مش شايفة خالص negative number. Number 3, 3 over 5 raised all squared. Malak? Malak? Malak Ihab? Malak Muhammad?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
We will make 3 power 2 and 5 power 2.
Exactly. I'm going to take the power and distribute it on the numerator and on the denominator. So I'm going to have 3 to the power of 2 over 5 to the power of 2, and this is equal to
9 over 25.
9 over 25. Thank you. Number 4, there's a problem in it. It's supposed to be 0.04, all raised squared. Who's going to answer this one? Safe?
Yes. It will be 4 over 100.
Yes, first of all, I'm going to change it to be a fraction. So it's going to be 4 over 100. All squared.
Yes.
Okay.
هتكون 16 over.
يبقى عندي 4 squared over 100 squared, and this is equal to 16 over 10,000.
10,000.
And as a decimal, it's equal to 0.0016. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Again, when I have a decimal number, I go first and change it to fraction and raise it to the same power. I have here 0.04, so it is 4 over 100, all raised to the power 2. And now let's go for number 5. Aya.
So, okay, 0.6 to the power of 2 is equal to 6 over 10 to the power of 2.
First of all, I'm gonna change it to fraction, so it is 6 over 10 squared, which is equal to
6 squared over 10 squared.
6 squared over 10 squared,
and the simplest form is going to be equal to 9 over 25.
36 over 100, which is equal to 0.36, or as you said.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, dear. Type. We said before in number 6, whenever I see a bracket in math, I go and solve it first. So this means that I must first to find the answer of the subtraction and then go and raise the answer to the power of 2. Mustafa?
Yes.
Okay, can we answer number 6?
Yes, first it's going to be negative 2 over 3, right?
It's going to be negative 2 over 3. طب أنا هعملها بsteps بس. We know that 1 is any number over itself. Since I have here 3, so it's going to be 3 over 3 minus change the mixed number to improper fraction. So 3 over 3 minus 5 over 3 all squared, which is equal to, زي ما أنت قلت, negative 2 over 3 all squared. Okay, then
so then we're gonna multiply, we're gonna
أول
each of the numbers to the power of 2.
طب أول حاجة أنا عندي negative number ولا positive number؟
Negative.
حلو.
And even the power, so it's going to be
power بتاعي even يبقى 2، يبقى النيجاتيف دي كأنها مش موجودة. Okay. And then I'm going to distribute ايه؟ الباور على النيوميريتور والدينومينيتور. يبقى زي ما انت قلت عندي 2 to the power of 2 over 3
to the power of 2,
2 which is equal to
so it's 4 over 9.
over 9. Thank you Habibi so much.
Welcome.
لا ما عنديش باور 4 يا ملك cold what. انا عندي power 2 is squared, power 3 is cubed بس. طيب I'm going to lower hands now. Does anyone have a question in question number 1? Safe.
يس يا مس، عندي سؤالين. في نمبر 4 لازم في الآخر أحط الديسيمال نمبر ولا لأ؟
أحسن لك، بس طبعا على فكرة هو على حسب التشويسز عندك كمان جاية ازاي.
اوكي
تمام، يعني لو احنا هندخل الامتحان بتاع الترم الجاي هيبقى تشويسز برضو على حسب التشويسز. التشويسز ممكن يجي لك كده، ممكن يجي لك in the simplest form، ممكن يجي لك as a decimal number.
اوكي انا بتكلم لو سؤال زي ده.
put it in the simplest form وبدل هو مديهولك decimal حطه بعد كده في decimal. شو اللي
اوكي
لا خلي كله مكتوب قدامه.
اوكي عندي سؤال تاني في نمبر 6.
اتفضل.
لازم في حتة اللي هي ان انا احل البراكت الاول لازم اعمل ستيبس ولا لا؟ مش
لا.
لازم يعني اعملها بالكالكوليتر على طول صح؟
نو.
اوكي
تمام. حسين. حسين. لما. لما. الو. لما I cannot hear you خالص. آدم.
مثلا نمبر 6 لو جالي يعني أي سؤال زيها ممكن أعمل عادي 1 minus 1 فتبقى 2 over 3 to the power of 2.
انت ممكن تعمل جوه البراكت كله على الكالكوليتر اصلا. يعني ممكن تطلع الفاينل انسر زي ما احنا طلعناه على نيجاتيف 2 over 3 all to the power of 2 من غير ما تعمل الستابسين.
اوكي ماشي.
Okay. So any more questions? If you have a question, please raise your hand. جودي.
بس هو ممكن الباور تبقى جوه البراكت يعني لو
دلوقتي مش هاخدها دلوقتي.
اوكي
مش مريم او محمد مش عارفه مين فيكم.
Miss, I can understand question number 6.
Question number 6, all what you're going to do is find first the operation between the bracket. If you make on the calculator 1 minus 1, 2 over 3, you're going to get an answer of negative 2 over 3. And all what's inside the bracket is raised to the power of 2. So raise it to the power of 2 وبعدين نحلها normally. يبقى الأول طلعي الأنسر بتاع البراكت.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. سارة.
أنا مش فاهمة هو لو الباور أكتر من 2 أو 3 أنا مش فاهمة نعملها ازاي.
هتعمليها على الكالكوليتر.
أيوة لو باور اللي جاي على النمبر أكتر من 2 أو 3.
ما هي وأنا قلت لك half raised to the power of 5. Okay? يبقى you're going to take a 5 distributed on the 1 and on the 2. يبقى 1 to the power of 5 over 2 to the power of 5. طلعي الانسر بتاع كل واحد فيهم لوحده بس.
أيوة أنا مش عارفة ازاي.
مش عارفة فين على الكالكوليتر أصلا؟
ما ده اللي أنا بسأله.
طيب. انت شايفه بس انا مش هينفع اكبرها عن كده. انت شايفه الكالكوليتر بتاعي؟
أنا شايفه.
اوكي. طيب بصي يا ستي انا هعمل اهو مثلا 2 اهي to the power of هتلاقيها جنب الاكس سكوير. في هنا اكس جنبي فوقيها سكوير كده هتدوسي عليها باور 5.
ثواني اكس جنبيها سكوير هي فين بالظبط؟ دي
شفتيها؟
وبعدين ادوس على النمبر اللي انا عايزاه.
يعني 2
صح
اهو to the power of 5. فبدوس الاول على 2 بعدين ادوس على الزرار ده وبعدين باور اللي انا عايزاه اللي هو 5 تبقى equal 32. Did you get it? اوكي.
شكرا قوي.
عفوا حضرتك. حسين.
طب مس في نمبر 6 هو احنا شلنا النيجاتيف عشان 2 ده ايفن نمبر.
بالظبط.
4 ده ايفن نمبر.
بالظبط. طيب okay, let's go for question number 2. Who's gonna first answer the first one? I'm going to lower hands بس كده نبتدي. Who's gonna answer the first one now? Judy?
Okay, so 1 over 4 to the power of 0 equals 1.
Exactly.
So 1 plus 1 over 4 equals 5 over 4.
يبقى 1 plus 1 over 4 and this is equal to 5 over 4. Thank you. Number 2, the multiplicative inverse of the number 2 over 5 to the power of 0 is Ali? Hey Ali? 1. Thank you. First of all, I'm going to find what's 2 over 5 to the power of 0. I know that any number raised to the power of 0 is equal to 1. And I know that the multiplicative inverse of 1 is itself. So the answer is 1. The additive inverse of the number negative 3 to the power of 0 is Mariam?
1.
طب اوكي تمام ركزي بقى. هو انا بقول لك additive inverse. انا عارفه ان النيجاتيف 3 to the power of 0 is equal to 1 صح؟
يبقى 3.
لا ثانيه واحده. Negative 3 to the power of 0 is equal to 1. So the additive inverse of 1 is the same number but in opposite sign. So it's going to be negative 1. I don't have here negative 1, but I have negative 3 raised to the power of 0, which is going to give me negative 1. Did you get it?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Question number 4, the multiplicative inverse of the number negative 1 to the power of 3. هنا في something wrong in the choices. There's supposed to be negative 1 to the power of 3. Noor?
The multiplicative inverse of the number negative 1 to the power of 3 it's gonna be
first of all, negative 1 to the power of 3. This is equal to what?
Equals negative 1.
Equals to negative 1. What is the multiplicative inverse of negative 1?
Negative 1.
It's the multiplicative inverse is negative 1. طيب, let's take the choices one by one. أول حاجة هنا 1 squared.
A is gonna be number A.
Exactly.
Oh wait.
صح. 1 squared هنا مفيش نيجاتيف فالانسر دي غلط. 1 over 3 برضه هنا 1 to the power of 3 هنا برضه مفيش نيجاتيف. هنا نيجاتيف 1 squared بس
هتبقى في الآخر هتبقى 1 بس واحنا عايزينها نيجاتيف فلازم هنلاقي to the power الأوض.
Exactly. Thank you. The additive inverse of the number negative 2 over 5 all to the power of 2. This is equal to Adam.
هتبقى negative 4 over 25.
A negative 4 over 25. يبقى first of all, I'm going to find negative 2 over 5 to the power of 2. Thank you so much, Habibi. I have here an even number, so the negative is going to be cancelled. And I'm going to distribute the 2 on the 5 and on the 2. So it's going to be 2 squared over 5 squared, which is equal to 4 over 25. Now I want to find the additive inverse. The additive inverse of any number is the same number but in opposite sign. So it's going to be negative 4 over 25. Type the last question we are going to take today is question number 6. If x is equal to y, then 3 over 5 to the power of x minus y, this is equal to, Yasin?
Yes, x minus y, it will be like to the power of 0. So 3 over 5 to the power of 0 is equal to 1.
Exactly. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Now he told me here a condition. أنا لازم to read كويس عشان أشوف الcondition. الcondition قال لي إن x is equal to y. And here I have to the power of x minus y. So I am making a number minus itself. So this is going to give me 0. So as if he's saying that I have 3 over 5 to the power of 0, which is going to equal 1, because anything raised to the power of 0 is equal to 1. I'm gonna lower all hands now, and please, if you have a question, raise your hand. أيوة حسين.
تمس في نمبر 5.
نعم.
النمبر 5 لو النيجاتيف
Number 5 to the power of 2 يعني to the power of an even number يبقى النيجاتيف هيروح.
تمام. طب لو النيجاتيف بره البراكت برضه هيروح؟
هيفضل. لو
بقى بره البراكت
2 over 5 to the power of 2 يبقى النيجاتيف ده هيفضل زي ما هو عشان النيجاتيف ده ما حصلوش اي سكويرنج، هو زي ما هو. تمام. سارة.
انا برضو لسه برضو مش فاهمة احنا ليه ما شلناش النيجاتيف. انا عملتها على الكالكوليتر طلعت من غير النيجاتيف.
حبيبتي ده فين؟ هنا؟ طب ما انا طلعتها 4 over 25 and then I calculated the negative inverse بتاعها. يعني هي الانسر بتاعتها 4 over 25. الاديتيف inverse is the same number but in opposite sign فهيبقى negative 4 over 25.
اوكي. هو انا برضو مش فاهمها قوي بصراحة.
طيب ثانية واحدة بس. طب اوكي we ended our today's session يا ولاد، خلاص مفيش homework النهارده. انا هحط الحاجة دي على الموديل، يا ريت الرولز بس نحفظها علشان الدنيا تبقى سهلة بكرة. تمام؟